This is Harrison Smith for Infowars.com. The story today comes from the UK, from the Daily Mail, and it is a story that is both somewhat terrifying and at the same time sort of has a macabre humor about it. But of course, the actual situation and to live through the situation would not be funny. This is Magistrate Nigel Stringer defended himself from a burglary, and yet he himself was arrested. So he was enjoying a Sunday afternoon with his wife and 3 children near Norwich at his home near Norwich when 3 cars pulled up at the gate and a group of men climbed onto the grounds. He rang 999, which is the UK version of 911, and he says, "I told the operator we were under attack. I could see at least 3 men running between the trees. One had a weapon which looked like a crossbow. The others had steel bars. When a 4th man, armed with what appeared to be a handgun, started banging on their glass front door, Mr. Stringer said he was compelled to act. He grabbed a child's hockey stick and confronted the intruder. I used my hands and the stick to push him away from the house. He kept punching and kicking me. I was by that time bruised, bleeding, and utterly exhausted." So that's an incredibly brave thing for this man to do. He was trying to defend his family, his wife, his daughters, and sons from this attack. 3 cars full of men, all simultaneously jumping his fence or breaking through a hole in his fence and trying to attack his family. Later, there was found a very large butcher knife on the scene. He says they had a crossbow of all things, which shows you what happens when you get rid of guns. But here's the real thing. Here's the real twist of this story. Moments before the police arrived, the remaining intruder called 999 saying he'd been attacked by 2 men, suffered numerous injuries, and was racially abused. 5 police cars then arrived and officers arrested Mr. Stringer and his son on suspicion of a racially aggravated attack. Police briefly questioned the men at the gate, but none were arrested. So essentially what was happening was he was fighting with these 3 men, or with this one man. There were 3 other men on the other side of the hedge that were encouraging their friend. He yelled at them and used a racial epithet that the men themselves were yelling at their friend. And that is what the man was arrested for. A magistrate defending his family against an armed gang who stormed his home ended up being arrested himself and accused of racially aggravated assault. Police detained Nigel Stringer for 3 hours, and he remains under investigation while the gang, believed to have been armed with a gun, knives, metal bars, and crossbow, were allowed to leave. So he says, can you imagine? Can you imagine being attacked by a gang? You fight them off while you're waiting for the police to come. And yet, because you say a naughty term, you are the one who's arrested, while the men with steel bars, crossbows, and knives who were breaking into your house for unspecified reasons, one can only imagine what they were doing there, they get let off. Completely let off. They are able to walk away from the scene of the crime while the home owner who was defending his family and property is arrested that day. He also says, in detaining us, the police left my wife and my daughters unprotected with some of the gang still in and around the garden. That's right. He and his son, who were there bodily defending their property and their family, they were removed while the men who'd been breaking in were left in and on the property of which the now undefended women were still inhabiting. This is the insanity that has gripped the UK. This is the insanity that comes with PC culture. This is the insanity that threatens to bring down the world as we know it. There has to be a level of sanity put back into this world. There has to be a level of manliness, a level of humanity put back into our bureaucracies. Who were these police? What were they thinking? What directives were they given? Are they really told? Are they given workshops that say, if somebody gets broken into, their house gets broken into, and yet they call that burglar a naughty name, they're the real criminals? This is insane. This is not manageable. This can't continue. Something has to break. Something has to end this type of illogical pursuit. And it is. The people in Britain are rising up. The people in Britain are fighting back. I'll do a full report on this tomorrow with the arrest from Tommy Robinson. There have been attacks of people finding these grooming gang perpetrators and doling out a little bit of vigilante justice. Can you blame them? Can you blame them? Really? What would you do? What would you do if there was 3 cars full of men breaking into your house with deadly weapons? Apparently you can't defend yourself in the UK. Apparently you can't yell things at them. Apparently that makes you the bad guy. Guess the only thing you can do, sit back, let them take whatever they want, let them do whatever they want to your wife and to your daughter, and apologize to them because you're white. That's wrong. I only said it was humorous because of the idea that the remaining intruder, having broken into someone's house, would then call the police and say, "Help! Help! I'm being attacked." Can't you just imagine that phone call? Can't you just imagine exactly how that would go? "Yes, hello, 999, what's your emergency?" "I've been attacked by a man and he's called me a naughty name." "Okay, where are you?" "I'm in his house." "Is he your friend?" "No, I was going to rape his wife and steal his things, but then he punched me with a child's hockey stick." "We're on our way, sir. Stay where you are. We'll get that bad man out of there as soon as we can." That's kind of funny. It's a little funny. Mainly, it's terrifying. Principally, it's a reason to revolt. In reality, it's an unsustainable situation that the Western world finds itself in. It will not be sustained. It will either change, and the Western world will thrive and break out of this dark age and go on to colonize the planets, or it will give in, and in order to get rid of our first world privilege, we'll just go ahead and become third world. We'll go ahead and let criminals do whatever they want. We'll go ahead and let lawlessness reign and let good men die. Those are our options. Hope we make the right choice. For Infowars.com, this has been Harrison Smith.
This 4th of July is special. Everybody can see it, they can feel it. The globalists are attempting to kill a worldwide awakening to their tyranny. And America, yet again, is at the heart of the resistance to the globalist. That's why this 4th of July, I'm asking all of our great supporters to think about InfoWars now more than ever. And what would the world be like if InfoWars wasn't there resisting the globalists? What would have happened if you hadn't supported InfoWars? We would not be having the victories we have today. So yes, a lot of good things are happening, but the enemy is striking back. So please, think about InfoWars and funding our operation while you get great products at the same time on this 4th of July that's so historic. We have record sales going on right now, free shipping on hundreds of different items. More than 20 items are 50% off, like Brain Force Plus, X2 is 40% off, Knockout Sleep Aid, $17.76, Silver Bullets, $9.95 colloidal silver, and free shipping. You can't beat that. This 4th of July is special, and our sales are special to match it. InfoWarsStore.com.